Didn't you know? Yo, what's good? It's your boy. It's your boy. We back at it. New video. Going over the Venus sign series. Damn, my floor kind of squeaky and shit. Yeah, we back at it with another video. Holla at your boy. You know what I mean? Holla at your boy. You know what I mean? We here to start the Venus sign series, right? We're gonna start off with Venus and Aries, and we're going to talk about what this means, you know, what this denotes. We're going to talk about your love language, how you can make money, etc. Venus is a feminine planet, basically. It represents, we could say, money, finance, and it represents love. So yeah, let's dive a little deeper, you know what I mean? So let's talk about the planet Venus. This is the glyph of Venus, and this is the glyph of Aries. So we got Venus coming into Aries. Now, Venus, right, is home to the signs of Taurus and Libra. Right? So Venus in Aries is actually in detriment, and the reason being is because Aries, right, the sign of Aries, is opposite of Libra, where it's home to. So anytime a planet is basically in the opposite sign that it's home to, it's going to be in what's known as detriment. So it's going to be a bit uncomfortable for people, for those of my people who have Venus in Aries, right? Before we go a little deeper, let's talk about everything. Planet Venus can show how you relate to others, and it can show like your love language, right? And remember, I told you guys, even in the Mars series, there's multiple areas you gotta look into in terms of a chart to see, and you gotta compare these energies basically. So look at your Venus sign in terms of the signs, even the aspects, but also look at your 7th house. That's gonna show like kind of like how you relate to people too. And we can say a little bit of the love language, since that's how you relate to others. Now, it's also gonna show what you value basically, right? It's gonna show what you value and kind of the value you can bring to the table. And when I say bring to the table, that's just in general in this life, you know what I mean? What you can bring to the table. Another thing, Venus kind of corresponds with Taurus, since it's home in Taurus. Taurus is the 2nd house, so it can show again how you make money, right? You want to compare this basically with your 2nd house, right? In terms of any signs and the planets that's, you know, in the 2nd house in terms of how you can make money. But compare that with your Venus sign, right? And then also in a man's chart, it's going to show the ideal wife, basically, right, in a man's chart. Now, for those of you who, I know a lot of people use Placidus house systems, you know what I mean? But for those of you who aren't into whole sign systems, Venus, if you have a nighttime chart, go watch the video I did for nighttime charts to see if you have a night or daytime chart, right? So, but Venus is a benefic planet it's on the nighttime, it belongs to the nighttime team, right? So Venus will show the strength / blessing that it's deposited to in terms of the house that it's in, right, for a night chart. So that's basically, you know, what it can show, right? So let's talk about how you relate to others, right? So Venus and Aries, when we think about the constellation of Aries, Aries is a very independent type of energy, right? It's a very, it deals with like being, it's kind of like a leader type of energy, basically, you know, pioneer, go-getter, right? So in terms of how you relate to others, this would be kind of the theme of how you are. You're more the type to be the head of your relationships. You could like to be the leader. In terms of your love language, you definitely need passion, basically. And you guys can also relate to others in an independent manner. Since it's in detriment, because again, Venus is home to Libra, it's opposite sign of Aries. When it comes into Aries, right, you're going to find that a lot of times you have to, it's more of an independent, like I said, relationship. So you may find that relationships could be challenging. Either it could show, this is the constellation or sign that could deal with like warfare, so it may feel like you have to fight in your relationships, or it may feel like people just leave you hanging. You know what I mean? A lot of times you gotta kind of be strong and be there for your own self, and this is what's gonna kind of force you to be more of a leader, because you gotta take on more of a role to be, you know, the head, basically. You definitely need some space too, and you need passion, like I just stated, right? Now, again, compare that with your 7th house, right? Whatever sign is on the 7th house, look in the 7th house. That's going to show how you relate to others, as well as your love language, basically, as well, right? So make sure you do that. Let's go to what you value, and let's go to the value you bring to the table, right? So in terms of what you value, again, you value independence, And that's actually what you can bring to the table, good leadership skills, because you've had to be your own man per se. Even if you're a woman, be your own woman basically, or be your own man, you know what I mean? But you value, you just value your independence. You can value taking action. Looking at the house is going to show, it's going to show that you value usually being independent in that area, right? In terms of what the house is. I did another video on houses recently, so you can go look at that video. I try to link it here, you know what I mean? So on the YouTube basically. In terms of how you make money, right? I told you guys, make sure that you compare your Venus sign with also what's going on in the second house in terms of planets there and signs. And look at aspects too, but Venus in Aries, so let's talk about themes or maybe like occupations that fall into Aries, right? Alright, so this could literally be hat makers. People who do hair since it's the head. Or it could show up as, you'll see some people who's into like sports, basically military, police can fall into this. As this is a action oriented type of energy. Martial arts can fall under the Aries energy in terms of how you can make money. It can rule over knives and weapons as it deals with, it's ruled by Mars. Mars is like knives, weapons, things of that nature. Since you value independence, you need to actually make money in an independent manner. So this can show a lot of times with people who have their Venus sign coming through Aries, and even Aries on the second house. You need to either be maybe your own boss or your own, maybe like a manager, but you need to kind of be like independent to a certain degree. Even though managing, you could be dealing with other people's shit, you know what I mean? But let's take that into consideration when you got Venus in Aries or Aries on the second house. If I'm missing anything, I did another video, which I'm about to link it in, you know what I mean, to occupations that fall under each sign, right? So you can look in that video, look under the occupations for Aries, and then whatever sign it is that's on your second house that is, you also can look at that sign and any planets that are there too. I showed you how to find that, basically to see how you can make money as well too, right? So I'll leave it there. Ideal wife in a man's chart, you need a woman who's more of a go-getter, right? You value independence, you value being a go-getter, you value taking action, so you need a woman who can match your fly, basically. Maybe a woman who's her own boss, maybe someone who's into martial arts as well too, a fighter, a woman, it could be a woman who has more masculine energy too, you know, maybe someone who's competitive, you know what I mean? You might like that, you might like feistiness in your relationship, because again, I told you guys that you need passion so you guys could get bored, basically, you know what I mean? Make sure if you're dating a Venus in Aries man, if you're a woman, make sure that you get a nigga space, you know what I mean? Give his ass space, don't be all up on him, you know what I mean? Unless he has other placements that change that, but give him a little bit of space. And yeah, you know, your ideal wife, excuse me. Let's get back, because we jumping all around. For a man, just a woman who's not really passive per se, you know what I mean? That's what I would think. Now, if you have a nighttime chart, I showed you how to find that. Look in the house that Venus is in to see where you can have blessings around. If you don't know what the houses mean, go watch the video I did for houses basically and what they represent, right? So that's pretty much the video. I know it's very short, but it should resonate with you. You know, I hope it was insightful, and I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned.